Hey guys, welcome to What the Flicks discussion of Hannibal, episode 2, season 2.
Sakizuki.
Sakizuki,
which,
the name?
according to the internet, seems to be misspelled. They spell it S-A-K-I-Z-U-K-I, but all I found on the internet that's an actual word is S-A-K-A-Z-U-K-I, which is basically all the things that come when they serve sake to you, the square wooden thing and the little dish and the little ceramic glass.
I did not look it up.
Well,
that's why you're here, man.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right.
You're play-by-play, I'm color, you know.
So, all right, well, take us through what basically where we are from episode 2.
Well, so we wrapped up last week's sort of serial killer of the week. We now, we branched into the serial killer of the 2 weeks. The last victim sort of wakes up with everything all glued together and manages to get away, despite the fact that he's been sewn to the person behind him. That I was literally the whole first time I was just going. Just watching this thing.
No, I did the thing that I feel like all men do, which is just be like, oh,
yeah,
come on, like
I mean, even like his thighs were glued together, and he had to rip them apart.
What's amazing is that we can't show a male penis, but that's okay. Like that's crazy. That was sickening. That was really difficult for me to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because you have this whole big ring of naked bodies, but everyone's very strategically, what you're not seeing. Brian Fuller posted on Facebook a picture from a Busby Berkeley movie. This big overhead shot of the round thing, which I thought, okay, yeah, I can see that. I was sort of reminded also of. The artist Spencer Tunick?
I do not know.
There was an article, or there was a documentary about him called Naked States, where he takes these photographs where he'll get like 500 people to be naked in a semi-public place or in like a big field somewhere and just shoot it. But I mean, it's literally just sort of them being there. They're not put in weird poses or anything, but just a sort of giant amount of. So anyway, the guy escapes. He is killed in the pursuit. He jumps off a cliff to get away from the serial killer and hits his head in a rock and goes downstream. They find the body. They figure out that the resin that's covering him may have details and information in the cracks, and so we see Hannibal take a big whiff. It puts him into the cornfields. He figures out cornfields is able to narrow down where it is. He goes by himself, covered in plastic. Yeah. This is a vinyl fetishist will love this episode because he whips out the plastic coveralls a lot in this episode.
Still impeccably dressed.
Absolutely, yes. Over the suit and tie and whatever. Finds the sort of corn silo, I guess, that all these bodies are in, looks overhead in a shot that will be familiar to people who saw True Detective this week as well.
See those within an hour of each other. Last night was
connection. Anyway, so he looks down, he sees the whole thing, realizes that it's an eye. Killer shows up and Hannibal says, "I love your work." And then we find out later that basically Hannibal convinces the killer to be the last entry in the work, to take the place of the guy who ran away, even though the guy who ran away is black and he's white, and does him with the heroin, and then takes as a trophy a leg, which he then turns into veal ossobuco. Meanwhile, the coroner lady, whose name I don't remember, gets busted for having gone to see Will, but Crawford doesn't stop her from going to see Will because
you can see that coming with this conversation never happened.
Right. Yeah. So even though even Crawford feels terrible about having put Will in this situation and having pushed him too far, he's still willing to use him behind bars to help solve crimes.
Do you have there's a suspension of disbelief that comes with any show, and it really is the degree to which shows take advantage of it to some extreme.
Sure.
Like True Detective really does it very little. I'm sure there are moments when
until this episode, but we'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
That's another recap.
But here, is no one charting Hannibal's travel? Like, where did he go? How did he get there? How does he arrive?
Well, he's not an employee of the FBI.
I got it.
He's a consultant, so I'm sure he can be like, oh, you know what? I've got a 3 o'clock, gotta run.
Sure. and he was, there investigating the body, so was privy to whatever information they presumably had about it, their results. It just seems.
He basically he got one clue first, did the thing, came back, then probably said, you know where we should look.
Well, he said that they came to it on their own. I think they arrived.
Oh, they figured out the
she said
quarantine
the Asian coroner said we put it together by the water and the corn. We figured there are only a couple places. So actually, at that point, he was just answering their call when he arrives there.
Okay, gotcha.
For the second time.
Then meanwhile, Hannibal's therapist, Dr. Bedelia du Maurier, I love that name, played by Gillian Anderson, announces that she's...
Daphne du Maurier wrote Rebecca and The Birds.
And Jamaica Inn.
And Jamaica Inn,
all of which were turned into Hitchcock movies. Announces she's not going to be Hannibal's therapist anymore because she doesn't trust him. She thinks that he is sort of trying to use their patient-doctor privilege to sort of force her to have to lie for him.
But more than not trusting him,
she's afraid of him.
And she now, as she said to Will, she went to see Will and whispered.
The big capper of the episode, she goes to see Will and whispers to him, "I believe."
Which means she believes.
So she knows that Hannibal's the guy.
Right, as a killer, not just not trustworthy.
Right, exactly. But I didn't want to put too fine a point on it. But
if I believe that my therapist is actually a murderer and the time has come to sever relations with him, I'm going to send an email or make a call. I'm not going to show up at the office.
She thinks her patient, it's slightly different. There's a professional courtesy involved.
Still, I think. By the way, I think if my therapist thinks I'm killing someone, I think, dear Ben.
Yeah, exactly. Don't come back. And I'm moving and changing my name.
Right.
So. Yeah, so this episode was taut, and we get a little Cynthia Nixon. Clearly, there's going to be some. They're prepared to make a deal with Will, but I think
it's a little weird because she's not actually the prosecutor. She's just trying to save the FBI embarrassment, save him embarrassment.
Right, she's sort of internal affairs or something?
Yeah, she's like the inspector general.
Right. But as opposed to Hannibal, Will actually was an employee of the FBI. So it's a bigger deal if this whole goes to trial, which clearly she's trying to avoid.
So much of the production design is really just an updated version of Silence of the Lambs. With the manner in which the patients, this manner that can't be real. I like it. Don't get me wrong.
When I think of Silence of the Lambs, I always think of that glass or plexiglass wall with the little breathing holes in it. This seems a lot more retro, like Hannibal, the metal, bars of the cage.
It looks like where Hannibal was kept in the museum often at times, and then just in the scenes where they speak to each other, because Hannibal was in a couple different places where they came and talked to him, and he was behind bars at one point, and just the way the speaking is done, they're a certain distance away, like that. But I mean, that's okay. They've updated it, and it's intriguing.
I think there's only so many ways you can shoot a guy in a cage. Yeah. Especially a guy in a cage who has to be, kept at a distance, sort of thing.
What's interesting is that they do it different ways. Like he gets visited in different scenarios by different, like when he's not always in that small cage.
Right.
Like they mix it up.
Well, I think, for example, when somebody from the FBI comes to visit, it's different than when a citizen like Dr. du Maurier shows up, in terms of, well, we pretty much can guarantee that they're not going to be passing him a pick.
It's their effort to not show us the same shot again and again. To make the show not
be monotonous. Well, which I thought was kind of cool with Will sort of envisioning himself fly fishing. It's like, how to get him out of that room, even if it's just in his mind,
Right. So we know from the flash forward at the beginning of episode 1 of season 2 that obviously they come around on Hannibal.
Yeah, the jig will be up.
Right, which is good because, there's going to be a degree of, come on.
Yeah, how long can he maintain
How long
this?
Can even Earth's smartest criminal when literally inside the FBI?
Right.
And you've got one guy who people trust saying, it's him.
I know, it's almost, this is getting to like Crime and Punishment territory where it's like he's going to keep hanging around the cops thinking he's going to outsmart them, and eventually it's going to,
Right, no one is going to go, I can't believe it was Hannibal.
How did I not see that? No one said anything,
I was also very sad when that guy didn't get away. They did a nice job there because, first of all, just to extract yourself from this gruesome terror.
Yeah.
And the pulling apart of, like, cheek arm, thigh,
shoulder,
everything.
yeah.
Like it was just one after another. I mean, we see in the skin pull, and then we see
and
the
then
bare
you gotta
flesh.
then, like run naked with like big chunks of flesh missing and hitting that salt air.
He kind of gets away, and then they find him, and then he gets away again, like, and the shot misses. And so when the shot misses, I'm like, well, maybe he's going to get away. But then I'm like, it's not really how this show works.
Yeah.
But then when he has the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid moment, I think, oh God, he's going to make it. And then he just hits his head. And I was like, such a bummer. So, yeah. So you said something in recapping it that I didn't even, I guess maybe I didn't even quite put together. Because we never quite see, we don't really see Hannibal convincing the guy. Like when he's convincing him, he's already convinced. Like,
right, yeah, we do skip a scene where
like at some point, there's the logistics of it where he says, love your work, and then he says, I'm going to come down and we'll talk. Like, it's going to be like,
don't shoot.
Right, don't shoot, and then he's got to come down, climb down this long ladder while this guy waits for him and doesn't run away, and then they have some conversation where
what I'm assuming Hannibal was like, okay, look, the FBI's coming. Like, I figured this out, they're going to figure this out, so here's the heroin, let's just sew you in and make
how
it,
do you want to do it. And I believe that could happen, but I always like thinking about the missing scene. I'm watching a show also now that you'll like it. I know nobody has time. I don't even have time to watch it. Banshee, but there's this.
I've been watching it.
I love Banshee. So there's a scene in Banshee early on. It happens in a zillion movies that we've seen where the character will look out and someone is out in the yard or at a distance, someone from their past, like I see it's Alonso, and then I'm stunned and I look back and you're gone.
Right.
And I always want that moment from the other person's perspective. Like, so you're there.
Jumping to the ground.
What do you do? You jump to the ground and you run into the woods really quick.
Crawl.
Right.
Well, you'll recall in Silence of the Lambs, there's a character that we're told, like, Hannibal has talked into, like, remember,
Miggs.
Yeah,
Miggs, after Miggs throws the semen on Jodie Foster.
He talks him into killing himself or chewing off his own tongue or something.
His own tongue, swallowing his own tongue.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, so clearly we know his power of suggestion is, we don't have to see it.
And you're right, the gig was up for that guy. He was going down. Very interesting. And Hannibal's, the more you see, what's his name again?
Mads Mikkelsen?
Yeah. I always want to call him Hans.
Mads.
But every time you see Mads, you want to see him more.
Oh yeah. Somebody this weekend was telling me that I feel sorry for anybody who tries to lip read that show because Mads Mikkelsen doesn't move his top lip at all. And there are times where he'll be whispering something, and it's almost like all vowel. Like, is there a consonant in there? Is there a hard T? I mean, you just. But it's compelling. It's super magnetic.
My wife came in during the show. I don't watch this with her, and she was like, "Can you turn it down?" Baby was sleeping, and it's partially because when there's dramatic music or some moment, that's incredibly loud. But you have to keep it loud.
There's a lot of muttering on this show.
You don't turn it up to 29 or whatever on your volume, and I watch most shows at 16. I can't really
when it's him and Gillian Anderson, forget it.
You can't hear a word.
Because the whole time she's talking like this in a very sort of.
And then the next scene there'll be somebody running.
And then a car, right? Exactly. Yes.
Right. You got to constantly monitor that.
Yeah, that's what there are certain shows that the closed captions come on, and this is one of them sometimes.
I may have to. True Detective has been closed captioned throughout for me. Yeah.
All right, so another, we're off to a good season, and now that True Detective is over, if you're a True Detective fanatic and you're jonesing for more interesting serial killer investigation stuff and antlers, this is the show for you.
Yeah, it's watching them simultaneously. There's a lot of similarities, and that moment, the silo moment, eerily similar to the finale of True Detective. Thanks, everybody.